Hello, Travis.
Hello, Jen.
And hello to everyone. Welcome joining us here. Our talk today is titled Giving Back, the growing importance of corporate community engagement. Thanks for being here. As many of you may already know, I'm here with the one and only Travis Mlaker, President and CEO of Millcraft. Over the next 30 minutes or so, Travis will share with us his personal and professional experience with giving back and community engagement through Millcraft's Buy and Give paper program. Established in 2014, Millcraft's Buy and Give paper program grew out of Millcraft's mission to create a meaningful impact within Millcraft's communities and to give back to those in need. The initiative provides businesses the opportunity to support local charities through routine purchases of Millcraft's Buy and Give brand office paper. For every carton of paper purchased, Millcraft donates $1 to the program. Through 2022, Millcraft's Buy and Give paper program has generated more than $600,000 within Midwest communities. Well, again, many of you joining here may already know Travis as the president and CEO of Millcraft and fourth generation leader of his family's 100-year legacy company. Travis is also a happily married man, father, friend to many. And through the lens of the Buy and Give program, he's one man at the heart of it all. Travis Mlaker is someone who once had a thought, a notion to give back, who spearheaded Millcraft's Buy and Give program that today reaches and impacts thousands of people and families. Now, from what I know about Travis, he's dying to jump in here with his natural humility and explain that he could never have done this alone and that the success of the Buy and Give is at the hands of many. But before we bring Uncle Travis in, I'd like to first share this. I'm Jen O'Day. I am a writer with Millcraft, and over the last year, I've had the honor of writing in-depth articles about Millcraft's Buy and Give program, the privilege of interviewing and speaking with recipients of the Buy and Give program, of hearing firsthand what this program means to them, how it's touched lives in their communities, how it's inspired them personally and their teams. For example, Buy and Give recipient Megan McNamara, co-founder of Prayers for Maria, that raises funds for research to end childhood cancer, says, and I quote, "You've got to believe in what you're doing and what you stand behind. Millcraft gets it. They're not giving to get, they're giving to give. That's very apparent with them." Alongside interviewing Buy and Give recipients, I've also interviewed members of the Millcraft team. These are some very passionate people, okay? Let me tell you, and I mean this when I say that several managers got emotional and choked up when discussing Buy and Give. Behind the scenes, I've been privy to learning about you, Travis, and meeting you in the Buy and Give program through personal accounts from team members. Julie Sattler, Vice President, Detroit Regional Manager with Millcraft, says, and I quote, "People come to Millcraft to get a job. They stay because of our culture, and Buy and Give is an important part of that. To be able to help people working with what we have, paper, it's just an incredible thing. Buy and Give paper has a mission, and we're all in. We're all on board with Travis's vision." Travis, you've been described again, and I quote, as energetic, passionate, a true leader, and a down-to-earth guy. One employee said, "You make people feel seen." And essentially every person I spoke with, and I think this speaks hugely of you, mentioned how you know people and even family members by first name. Travis Mlaker, President and CEO of Millcraft, creator of the Buy and Give program. It is truly wonderful to introduce you here and to be having this conversation here with you today.
Thank you, Jen. Certainly an honor to be here.
Absolutely. I just so look forward to this, really. I've learned a lot about the Buy and Give program. This is corporate community engagement. So I suppose we'll take it from the top, okay? Because like me, many people may have heard snippets of this story. Some may have no understanding of the story behind Buy and Give. So I will say, Millcraft's Buy and Give paper program has grown and evolved over the years. But can we go back to the beginning? Will you take us back to 2014 and share with us what was happening in your life and the origin of the Buy and Give program that we know today?
Sure. We actually have to go back a little bit before that. So let's go back to 2013. In 2013, Millcraft went through an acquisition where we acquired one of our largest competitors. And it was a wonderful but chaotic time frame. We essentially doubled the size of the company overnight. And in the middle of that, literally in the middle, my son had open heart surgery. And so I was ripped out of our business at a time of complete chaos and turmoil. And I was thrust back into what really matters in life in terms of our family. And I had to juggle those two worlds. And I had to make sure that I prioritized at the time what was truly important, and that was my son and what he was going through, but also not lose sight of what was happening at the office and at work. And so it's funny for me reflecting on that, coming back to work after my son's surgery, getting re-engaged in the business after a week when all this turmoil and chaos was going on as we were meshing two cultures together. Buy and give wasn't a vision of mine that some people talk about. It was really my request for help. I went out to the organization, and what I realized was there were people in the world that, as a father, one of the hardest things I think you ever can do is you have this role and responsibility to take care of your family. But at some point in your life, I had to hand my child over to somebody else and say, I can't fix this. I need you to help. And so they did. And I wanted to find a way of being able to give back to them or to somebody else that they were helping, that in a small way that they had given to me. And what I recognized in talking to a lot of people in our organization and trying to relive the experience that I had with my son is everybody else has a similar experience. And so that's really where it came from. It was my cry to the organization to ask them to help me help those that had helped me. And so if that makes sense.
Well, absolutely. Can you take me to how it was received in the beginning? Like, listen, I want a way to give back. Let's make copy paper. Let's take something that's hugely ordinary and make it extraordinary. But I mean, what was the general reception in the beginning? Travis, good idea. How does it actually get legs?
Yeah, so I think the honest answer to that is a little tears go a long way. And those that have heard me kind of recount the story, this was one of the few times that I've probably been able to do it without tears falling down my cheeks. And so I think that the things that are most personal are also the most universal. And so I think by having a conversation with our organization and walking them through my experience and what we wanted to accomplish, we picked copy paper for a reason, because it's not what we do, it's why we do it. And I think it's hard for a lot of people to get their head around, what do you do for a living? And the joke is, I'm in the paper business. Yeah, but that's not really what we do. What we do is we support other entrepreneurial businesses with the inventory that they need from a day in, day out perspective. And so when we're selling our story or talking about Millcraft, it can't just be about the products that we're selling. I mean, the beauty of what we do is we sell a commodity product, but we do it in an uncommoditized way. And so by taking something that everybody views as a throwaway decision, what is the price? We turned it into a story, and it was a story about something larger. It was a story, I hope, about who we were as individuals and who we were collectively at Millcraft, that ultimately, hopefully, results in them buying a carton of copy paper from us. But more importantly, results in us being able to have the opportunity to connect person to person about how, if we work together, we can make the world that much of a better place. And so that's really, to me, what Buy and Give was about, and why we chose a product that for many people is a pure commodity.
Okay, I'm going to skip ahead because it's something that I wondered multiple times in interviewing different Millcraft employees. it was shared with me that Millcraft offers hundreds of thousands of SKUs, all kinds of paper and finishes. And the buy and give program encompasses approximately 5, certainly less than 10. I wondered, did you conceive that? I mean, was there a choice of, what I'm getting at is, can you speak to that? Why you selected seemingly ordinary copy paper as the driver of Millcraft's Give Back program? It's an everyday paper. It's a common paper. It reaches everybody. But I wondered if that was what you envisioned when selecting copy paper. Again, hundreds of thousands of SKUs, and the buy and give program envelops less than 10. Was that part of your thought process? Let's get this to something everybody can touch.
Both corporate customers as well as commercial printers, colleges and universities, schools, hospitals, et cetera. But more importantly, I think we also wanted our folks to understand that people don't necessarily buy the products that you sell. They buy who you are as a partner. They buy the services that you deliver around those products. And sometimes those services are availability, on-time delivery, quality. But sometimes the value of what your organization provides is something more. It's something meaningful. It's who you can trust, who you can rely on, who's been there for 100 years. Or it's an extension of that. And so it's, how do we sell beyond just the products, but sell the organization that we're trying to be?
Once a mere idea, I like how you said you went to the team asking for a way to give back, asking for help in a way to give back. Okay. And it's the 2014, 2015 is somewhere between inception to actual bringing this to launch and fruition. At one time, though, this was a notion. This was a thought. This was a hope. Could we, as a paper company, find a way to touch the human condition and to give back? So I'm going to read you some stats, and I'm just, again, a mere notion of hope. As of 2022, Millcraft's Buy and Give paper program has generated more than $600,000 for 8 charitable organizations and communities Millcraft serves, including $80,000 in donations to Make-A-Wish, Ohio, Kentucky, Indiana. That includes granting 8 wishes to children diagnosed with critical illnesses. More than $100,000 to C.S. Mott Children's Hospital in Michigan. More than $30,000 to Blessings in a Backpack, Louisville chapter, providing nutrition to more than 250 children and families. And so, Travis, I have to ask you, what comes to mind when hearing these large numbers, knowing that Millcraft is part of this great impact?
Our people are amazing, and when you find something that people are passionate about and that they want to make a difference, truly make a positive difference in the world, you can see what they do, and they get incredibly motivated. And I think it's so important to realize, as a leader of a 4th generation business, this isn't my business. It's just my responsibility. And so I wake up every day with the adage in my head that today I better take care of customers or employees or somebody else will. And so how do you do that? I mean, customers, you provide value and you provide service, and you're constantly working on innovating for them. But then you look at the employee aspect, and certainly, yes, there's compensation, that you provide, but that's a base case. There's always more compensation somewhere else. And so how do you treat people? And at the end of the day, I think there's some wonderful studies now coming out where they look at, actually, I think it's called the hedonic adaptation. And so they look at, what is the happiness that you or I get from receiving something? You want to give me $1,000? There's a way we can measure the happiness that makes in my life. But if you start to measure the happiness that people get when they give something to somebody else or to an organization or to a charity, the happiness factor of giving will always exceed the happiness factor that any of us have in receiving. And all of us can see that in our lives when, you give somebody a gift on their birthday or a holiday or what have you. And so I think that at Millcraft, what we've recognized and I've seen is the happiness that our team has received when they get involved in these charities and when they can look back and say, look at the impact that we had on Mott Children's Hospital. Look at what we did for Make-A-Wish Foundation. Look at what we've done in Dayton with the Hospice of Dayton. They're wonderful stories, and our people take such pride and happiness in that. And that to me is what's exciting. And to me, that's the sustainable aspect is once people get infected with that happiness, they stay committed to the program going forward. And that's been the fun part.
No, absolutely. Again, we're talking about paper. You have, in my mind, as I've learned about this, and again, I've spent a year interviewing each of the recipients. It's been an honor, really. And to bring their stories to light, what exactly does Make-A-Wish do, and how paper has a part in this story. Travis, I know you're humble by nature, but I cannot express that when the day comes that you're not at Millcraft and fifth generation comes in, let's say, do you in some ways feel that this is your legacy within the company? I mean, I have to go back. I have to remember that you are one man at the center of this. You are one man who thought, I want a way to give back. Is this your legacy within Millcraft?
I don't know. I don't know. I think my legacy at Millcraft will be determined by other people in terms of how they look at my time here. It's hard for me to get my head around this being my legacy because, Jen, I've never sold a carton of Buy and Give. I don't think my name is on one sales order of the product that we've sold. Maybe my name is in the hearts and minds of the people at Millcraft who have taken this upon their own shoulders to go out and accomplish and do, but that's really their legacy. And, like with any organization, folks can select to stay in an organization or leave. And I think the wonderful thing about the people of Millcraft is they've chosen to stay here knowing that, look, there are probably organizations that would take the money, the $650,000 that we've given to charity, and they would have given that to employees in compensation. Our employees chose the opportunity to do something different and to give, that money and invest it in the communities that we serve and that, serve us back. And I guess that to me, I don't know that it's going to be my legacy, but it certainly is my blessing.
It is spearheaded, and it takes a leader, though, to bring a team together. And that's all I heard. And I, sometimes not even from a question I directly asked. People would say, oh, well, that's Travis. Travis is the one who will come in. And I do think that you inspire and facilitate a road. And you are working with the kind of people who want to carry on the same path. I like to think of Millcraft as an organization that doesn't just talk the talk. You walk the walk. And I can tell you from nearly 25 years as a writer with many companies, I've been told many times, you're the writer, just make us look good. That has never been the impression that I've ever gotten with Millcraft or any of your managers. Are truly genuine, heartfelt people. And that speaks to the kind of person who's bringing them in. I'll do a little transition with you for the folks who are perhaps interested in beginning this within their organization. You have had success with Buy and Give. And again, a notion to now nearly a decade later, it's teams bringing it through. But our talk today is titled Giving Back, the growing importance of corporate community engagement. With what you've experienced through the Buy and Give program and its positive impact throughout Millcraft, what would you add to the conversation about corporate community engagement and its importance in 2023?
I think it's important. I think there's a couple facets of it. I mean, first off, I think every organization in one way, shape, or form, you're selling yourself. Yes, you sell yourself to customers, but more importantly, I think you're selling yourself to future associates and team members. Why are they going to choose your organization versus somebody else's? There's plenty of opportunities out there. And so I think part of that is, and you shouldn't be ashamed about it, but you've got to define what it is that somebody's getting when they join your organization. What's that culture look like? What's it feel like? Deep spiritual, meaningful impact that you can make on the world. And I think about people in our military. I think about our teachers. I think about people that work for charitable organizations. I mean, they operate at such a deeper level. And so I think about, in an organization like Millcraft, what's the definition that we want people to be signing up for? What's the type of person we want to recruit to our organization, and subsequently not the type of person that we don't want to recruit for, or that we want to make aware that, hey, that doesn't fit who we are. And so I think our community engagement and what you do in terms of integrating your organization in the community, it's important to define who you are and what your values are, because those are the things that future associates, future team members, future customers, future supply partners, at some level, they're all going to sign up for. And so what you do matters and also defines who you are.
Yeah, I think for sure. I hear a lot about the culture of Millcraft and the kind of people who want to give back, who recognize the good neighbor, somebody who wants to give back within the community that they themselves live and serve. And you're seeing real time results. Absolutely. I will read you something that another Buy and Give recipient, Jean Skidmore, Assistant Director, Corporate Partnerships, CS Mott Children's Hospital, shared that he was mostly unfamiliar with Millcraft before meeting through Buy and Give. And I love that honesty, because, again, you're a paper company and you're working with children's hospitals and organizations who are working to end childhood cancer. It's not an immediate connection. The Buy and Give program makes that connection. He shared he was mostly unfamiliar. He says, and I quote, "Immediately I was drawn in. It's cause marketing, and I love it. People need to buy the paper. Why not buy the paper that helps a good cause?" And so my question for you is, Travis, what are your thoughts on cause marketing in regards to Millcraft's Buy and Give program and growing community engagement?
So I think cause marketing is a wonderful initiative and angle, if I can use that word, because if you have a product that is, fully focused on true cause marketing, you're wrapping that product in the mantle of the values that cause has. And it's a great way, I think, to recruit like-minded people or people who either value your product or value that cause, and to enhance those two brands as they come together. I think the unique thing about Buy and Give is that in one sense it is cause marketing, because we're marketing our, we're marketing our ability or our willingness to give back to specific causes. But in the other sense, and this is what I love about Gene's comments, we're not wrapping our product in the mantle or values of the causes that we're giving back to or those organizations. And in many cases, we're not even affiliated. I mean, the wonderful comment about that Gene made was he wasn't familiar with us. They were kind of a little customer, but that wasn't why we gave back to them. And what I love about Buy and Give is there's been a complete separation between the commercial activity that we do of trying to sell the products that we sell and the people that we are and who we want to give back to. And so if I look at the organizations, Blessings in a Backpack doesn't buy a lot of paper from us. Hospice of Dayton doesn't buy a lot of paper from us. Make-A-Wish Foundation. I mean, we're not selling to companies or giving back to companies because we're trying to increase our economic activity. We're selling to a third party, and we're trying to tell them who we are as people, as individuals, as humans. And then what's important for us is we go through our motions every day so that we can give back to somebody else. And whether that's CS Mott Children's Hospital, whether it's Make-A-Wish, whether it's Blessings in a Backpack, whether it's Nationwide Children's, whether it's, Prayers for Maria, they're disconnected in one sense, but the connection to them is the heart and minds of our people.
From a writer's perspective, many times I was bridging a gap from paper into saving lives and being part of trying to save lives. And again, I think you say it well. I think that Buy and Give defines who Millcraft is by whom you give your funds to, just as you said. And you draw the kind of employees who are equally interested in the greater good, okay, in working toward the greater good. So I will ask you this because it's kind of a buzzword. Do you believe that there is a corporate responsibility in some aspect to give back?
I believe that there is a responsibility to give back. I'm not going to dictate or push on to others what an organization should and should not do. Millcraft is blessed being a fourth generation family business that we don't have lots of shareholders with competing interests. I don't have hedge funds or pension funds that own us that have different objectives. And so as an individual who owns Millcraft and as a community of people that work at Millcraft, we can elevate the fact that one of the keys for us is to give back as an organization and as a team. And so I think that's greatly important. But I don't know if I have an organization, for instance, that is owned by only charitable organizations. Should they be responsible? Should that organization be responsible for giving back, or should they be responsible for flowing as much cash and profits back to the charitable organizations that own them? So
Right.
I don't know that I'm smart enough to have that, make the final ruling on that. I think that's up to everybody else. I just think for who we are, for who I am, for the people that I work for every day and work with every day, it's critically important that we make the world a little bit of a better place because of what we do.
I think too that the true honest origin of Buy and Give as we know today started with an earnest want to give back, to help you help others who had helped you. I don't believe that you started out of a corporate responsibility. I'm not even sure, let's say in 2014, that it was a buzzword, but it is a bit of a buzzword. And I think that you handled the question well, because it's more than a buzzword. You're either in or you're out. This is what I got from all of the different Millcraft folk that I got to talk with and interview. Everyone is in, okay? Millcraft division managers, sales staff, delivery truck drivers, everyone's in. Each division company-wide knows who their specific Buy and Give charitable organization is. Everyone understands the assignment, so to speak. Everyone's working together. And so, Travis, I have to ask you, what is your secret at Millcraft? How have you been able to positively affect Millcraft employees, customers, and culture of Millcraft through Buy and Give?
I think it's pretty simple. You just treat other people the way that you would want to be treated. And as I said, as the fourth generation of my family to be involved in the business, it's not my business. I need to take care of the people that are here every day. And I think that when you treat others that way, and I serve the people that work at Millcraft every day, I guess that's a start when you put others before yourself. And I'd like to believe that if there is a leadership story, it's that you lead by example. And I would hope that what we do at Millcraft and how we do it, I believe there's only one thing more transparent than glass, and that's BS. And so by doing what you say you're doing, That's important, because if you do it for the wrong reasons, or you say you're doing something and you really don't, everybody can see through it. And so I think we have a wonderful opportunity and a wonderful team who as Popeye used to say, I am who I am, and that's all that I am. And I think as an organization, we are who we are, and we're incredibly lucky because of that.
I can tell you, again, I met you more through hearing of you than getting to actually meet you as a recent. Um, there's something very special. You have people who are willing to, it's more than a sales force. It is an opportunity to touch lives through paper. And all of your teammates pick that up, your employees, your managers, and it just speaks hugely. Again, I think of Millcraft very much, and I refer to you. People I've written with you, and I say, Millcraft doesn't just talk the talk; they walk the walk. And somewhere I'm going to need a T-shirt that says the only thing we're clear than glass. That's a pretty good one, Travis. I enjoy that. I'll say this. I understand there's a little friendly competition amongst Millcraft team divisions. One of the smallest divisions within the Millcraft company, Millcraft Dayton. So, I mean, the general justice, one of the smaller divisions continuously is pulling some of the larger numbers. They have earned Millcraft's biggest heart, biggest sales award 5 consecutive years for raising the most buy and give charitable donations. I think they're your second smallest division who is coming in ranking highest. Okay. So I must say, Travis, what is about buy and give that you believe inspires and incentivizes your employees?
Again, I don't know that it's the program. What I've seen is the people in Dayton, they were passionate about Hospice of Dayton. And so they bought all in, not on the program per se or the product, but they bought in on the Hospice of Dayton and what it was that they provided and the impact that it has on the families that go through hospice and how it impacts those people's lives. And many of our folks in Dayton had personally experienced that. And so the opportunity for them to give back was so motivating. And that's what got them so excited and made them the little engine that could. And they all got so focused behind it. And that's why they constantly and continually win, because there's nothing more important to them than giving back to an organization that gave them so much. And that was the same experience that I felt with my son and what he went through. And so to see that is exciting. And it's so exciting to watch, the pride and the humility and the joy that our Dayton team takes when we have the opportunity to go meet our friends from Hospice of Dayton. It's just wonderful.
I learned a lot about hospice because of buy and give, honestly, and about the integrity and about how much of it is for the family members who are supporting their family member and how Millcraft has a part in this, right? Millcraft's donations were able to provide something as seemingly simple as refrigerators in the rooms. But that refrigerator makes it so that that family member doesn't have to leave, doesn't have to go down the hallway to go get something and miss a moment. And those are the things that are really hard to rep. Again, I tell people I write with a paper company and they say, that must be exciting. It's unbelievable. And I'm honored to have any small part of sharing the story of what you have spearheaded. I'd like to tell you one thing. I'll move into this next question, but I'm in Michigan. And I have 3 children and I have twins. One of them is in 8th grade. And we have a student in our school who unfortunately was diagnosed with brain cancer. And before I even knew anything about Millcraft's involvement with CS Mott Children's Hospital, that is where our student was treated. And the family kept saying that you wouldn't believe the things that they do inside this hospital to help families. And so it really was a full circle experience because I'd had a parent telling me, listen, it's been obviously the most horrible 6 months of our lives. She lived there with her daughter in the hallways that Millcraft has a part of, a small part, I know a humble part, but a part. And it doesn't have to be that way. You're a paper company. And I don't know how more clearly to say to people that you have created a way to touch lives through paper. it to me is the most ordinary paper that becomes so very extraordinary. And I know it's not just you, and I know it is a division and a fleet of everybody working in one motion. They want to give back. They want to be part of that greater good. And that it's happening, you know? Okay, so I will ask you, this is interesting to me. The magnitude, okay, the impact. We're talking more than $500,000 has gone to 8 charitable organizations. Is this beyond anything you ever dreamed? Or is Millcraft just getting started? Where are we at with that?
Well, certainly it's the team has done a wonderful job, and I think are probably ahead of what I had ever dreamed of. We originally, you got to put a big, hairy, audacious goal out there, and the desire was to try to give away $1 million through the Buy and Give program. And so I pinch myself that we're on track to do that, which I think is wonderful. And I think the exciting part is we continue to grow in that process. And so I look at, as our organization grows, kind of what do we continue to do to grow the organization or grow the program overall? And, couldn't be more excited that we continue to add charities. And I think our newest one is the Children's Hospital at Vanderbilt. We're going to be excited to engage with them and learn about that organization and how can we make a difference. And so as our organization grows, we're excited by the additional causes, the additional organizations, and the additional opportunities to make a meaningful impact. And so, that to me says we're on the right path.
I do. I was going to ask you how your vision has changed over the years and what's the future plans. And I think you spoke that, and folks, you heard it first. You're growing the Buy and Give program. Travis, thank you. It has been wonderful sharing. And for anybody who's considering corporate community engagement, I think Millcraft's Buy and Give program is certainly one to keep an eye on, of people who are taking an ordinary product and making it extraordinary. And that, it's been wonderful talking with you today.
Well, Jen, thank you so much. Thanks for the conversation and learning more about Buy and Give and talking to folks about it. And as I said, if there's anything we can ever do for folks that may be considering programs like this, we'll be more than happy to help in any way we can.